Today's topic is about how to handle tilt and the feeling of entitlement in poker. So last video I shared some of my thoughts on how to deal with losing in poker. So in this one I want to continue the conversation by going into some of the emotions that I think come with losing and break down the logic behind them so we don't let these emotions hold us back from getting over our losses or hold us back from developing the mindset to become stronger players. So if you're like me and have ever been really frustrated when things aren't going your way despite playing well, I hope you're able to get something out of this one. I do need to start off by saying that I'm in no way any kind of expert at handling tilt. We all know when we see that one guy at the table who's tilting out of his mind, and in past games I've often still been that guy. I will say that I think I've gotten much better at it over the years, and looking back, I do realize how much I've given away in the past because of how poorly I was at handling tilt. So the thing I've learned over the years of trying to handle it better is that it's not so much about trying to control your emotions or trying to not feel tilted, not feel angry or frustrated that you're losing. I don't think that's realistic and probably quite unhealthy to do because then you're just suppressing it, right? But I think a more realistic approach is to change your perspective and understand why we're tilting this hard. I believe it's true that our tilt comes directly from entitlement. We feel entitled to win because we've been losing, and how tilted we are is also in direct correlation with how entitled we feel. The more we expect to win, the more tilt and pain we feel when the outcome doesn't match that expectation. This entitlement, if you think about it, is unfounded. We forget that it's statistically inevitable to not go through stretches where we're losing hand after hand. We poker players like to call this running bad, right? Statistically speaking, running bad is normal and is bound to happen to everyone once we play enough hands. We all know this, but we all somehow lose this perspective. Once we regain this perspective, I think the tilt starts to subside quite a bit, because then we no longer feel like we're just victims of bad luck, and we're able to start accepting the string of losses for what they are, which is just a normal part of the game. So one easy mental shift that has really helped me calm down when I'm tilted is also thinking about like this. And this is something you can try next time you start feeling heated and when you feel like you deserve to win because you're losing. So let's say you're in a full ring game and one or two guys just happens to be running super hot that day and the rest of the table is losing. Well, there's 5 or 6 guys on the table that are likely feeling the exact same as you, and they all feel like it's their turn to win. And so if you're in a big room with a lot of games running at the same time, take a look around. There might be hundreds of players where they all feel entitled to win because they've all been getting outdrawn on the river for the 3rd time in the last hour. So then ask yourself, mathematically speaking, what makes you any more likely than all these other players to be dealt a winning hand? The reality is that no one is owed anything, and the cards will fall as they fall. And if the variance decides that one guy is gonna keep running hot that day, then that's how it goes. And tomorrow maybe it'll be you who gets dealt a winning hand every hand, but maybe it won't. And if it isn't, you're still not owed anything. Again, I think we all instinctively know this, but when we're tilting, we lose sight of this. And it's easy to lose sight of this. I'm sure you can all think back at those times where, let's say you just lost a big pot. You got your aces cracked by a set, and then later in that same session, now you have a set against the guy that just beat you. So now you probably feel like you deserve to win, win some of it back. And, let's say he outdraws you again in this hand and beats you again. That's when our minds just can't take it, right? Like we start thinking like, how is this fair? And this scenario probably has happened to me more times than I can remember. The cards, they have no memory of itself. And there's no justice system in poker. It doesn't care or remember what happened to you this hand or last orbit. So being able to maintain this perspective while losing is what has really helped me mentally get through some really rough sessions. And it basically stops me from feeling sorry for myself, which doesn't do any good. And you can vent to a friend about some of the beats you've been taking, but I think honestly this is probably why nobody really wants to hear bad beat stories, because what you're complaining about, what you're making your friend sit through and listen to is a normal occurrence, right? Everybody takes these horrendous beats. I mean, I've taken some of the worst ones imaginable for large amounts. You guys have seen them on the streams. So I don't want to downplay anybody else's beats because I think it's all relative, you know, whether in terms of the amount involved or how statistically unlikely the hand was, right? So the important thing is to be mentally ready for them. That way, when it's your turn to lose that big pot, you know, the tilt's not going to hit as hard. You're not going to be caught off guard, and you'll be more mentally ready to handle it. There is one other thing that I used to do a lot, and this would really help me lose some of the entitlement, and it would help me get off tilt pretty quickly. And that's keeping a journal of not only the hands that you lost, but also of the big hands where you got lucky. Try that next time. When you hit that 2-outer or that 1-outer, or were just way behind but you caught up, write down the date, what the hand was, and how much it was for. It's really easy for us to forget the times where we were the ones that got lucky. So many players have come up to me with stories of crazy hands that I beat them in, and I almost never remember any of them. So I started doing this. I started jotting down the times where I got lucky on other players, and after a while, I had this gigantic list of hands where I probably made someone else feel like things were unfair. I hope this has been somewhat helpful for everyone. If you have any thoughts or experiences with this, feel free to drop a comment below. And if there's any other topic you'd like me to talk about regarding anything poker or life, let me know as well. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.